I am not going to be pasturing pigs this year. Find out in this video why I'm not going to do that and what I'm going to do instead. When I first started raising pigs, the first breed I got was American guinea hogs. American guinea hogs is a smaller breed of pig, which was what intrigued me about the breed because I wanted to start off kind of small. I didn't want to go too big. After training them to electric fencing, I put them out on this piece of pasture right here. Just like any other pig, they do what pigs do, and they started rooting the ground. But it wasn't that big of a deal. They were small pigs, and they didn't cause a lot of disturbance in the ground. And it was pretty easy to repair. So once they would leave a certain area, I'd move to the next. I was able to repair the ground with a rake mainly and kind of smooth it back out. And as you can see here, it looks kind of like the rest of my pasture, not too bad. So the American guinea hogs were pretty easy on the pasture. It wasn't a big deal pasture raising them, but ultimately I wasn't really in love with the breed. So then I went exploring, trying to find a better pig breed that kind of met the criteria that I wanted here for my homestead. And after looking at red wattle pigs, Berkshires, Tamworths, Idaho pasture pigs, Mangalitsa's, and some other breeds as well, I finally settled on the Gloucester Old Spot. I also trained them to electric fencing and brought them out on pasture just like I did the American guinea hogs. However, having the old spots out on pasture was a little bit different of an experience. This right here is what they left in their wake, and this is after I repaired it to the best of my abilities with the rake. And this over here as well. It is seriously rooted up. After doing everything I could to get it smoothed out with a rake again and overseeded it, I seeded it again, I would not be able to drive a lawnmower over that. It would. By the end of the season, I could not wait to get them off the pasture, because ultimately my goal is to improve my pasture quality over time to where I can more sustainably raise sheep and other ruminant livestock on here. I have concluded that the old spot pigs or any other full-size pig breed, not just old spots, they're not ideal for me to be putting in a rotational grazing pasturing system because of the time that I have. I don't have enough time to be doing a rotational grazing system and moving them fast enough to where the pigs aren't going to cause the damage to the pasture that they did this last year. If I had the time to be moving the pigs 3 times a week, maybe more, I don't think the craters would form to the degree that they do. But the problem is, I don't. For those of you that don't know, I'm a single parent and I'm working full-time plus. I found that I didn't have enough time to be moving the pigs as quickly as I needed to be. I really only had time on the weekend to move them, and waiting week to week, doing it only once a week, just wasn't enough. So what does somebody do who's a single parent, working full-time, and doesn't have enough time to move the pigs that often? What am I going to do? I'm going to do deep litter system. The system I'm going to transition to is inspired by Justin Rhodes' pig port concept. Here's where I'm at with starting the deep litter project. Let me get you caught up to speed to how I got here. Of course, I had to go get my supplies and went to the farm store and got cattle panels, T-posts, and because this is a structure that's going to be holding wood chip mulch for a deep litter system, I have to get sidewalls, something to hold the mulch in. So I got some roofing panels. Of course, I already have some laying around the property. I only needed one more to complete the job. So I got one roofing panel and then some 1x12 pine that I'm going to use in the front of the structure, and we'll talk more about that later. After unloading the supplies, I pounded some T-posts into the ground. Then I attached the cattle panels to the T-posts, making a rectangular shape. This is a 16-foot by 8-foot pen. I'm not really sure what the best way is to attach this roofing panel to the cattle panel so it creates a sidewall to hold in the mulch. The only idea that really came to mind was using cable ties, because that's what I use for just about everything I build on the homestead. I'm gonna try and drill some holes in the panel here and use the cable tie to wrap around the T-post and cinch it tight, and hopefully that'll hold. Drilling through metal means there's little metal shards that got chewed up by the drill bit, so I'm going to be really careful and try to collect them all so they don't dump into the ground. For obvious reasons, we don't want animals accidentally eating these sharp little metal pieces. Cable ties are too short. I went digging through my garage in search of more cable ties, but I could only find really fat ones that won't fit through those little holes. Quite sadly for me, that brings this project to a screeching halt for the day, because we're at the end of the day. I'm a little frustrated with myself about that, because I really wanted to get a lot further on this today, but it is what it is. But I think you can see the concept here. We're gonna have the panel there, 2 more panels on this side, 2 more on that side, and in the front here I have 2 1x12 by 8 feet long. I'm gonna stack them on top of each other so it'll be 24 inches, and that's gonna give us a good frame to hold in the wood chips on the front and still be able to have a gate in the front that will be able to step over that. But after we get the sidewalls put up and the wood in the front, I'll either arch some cattle panels across the top to put a tarp over that for roofing, which will look like that gray silverish structure on the right there. But I also thought about using EMT conduit like you see there on the Soskovich style chicken tractors. Either way, we'll be getting some roofing on this thing. We'll get the wood chips in here and then the pigs. We're gonna get this project finished up in an upcoming video, and then soon thereafter, we'll be getting some piggies.